Welcome everybody. We'll do just like real quick introductions. You can introduce yourself however you want, but I'm Bauer. I call myself a principal development and retention expert, best-selling author, and I host two of the world's most downloaded podcasts. And we'll start here with you, Loren. Who are you?
Hi, I'm Loren Brody, principal in Alexandria, Virginia. Been a principal there for 3 years and a school leader for 10 plus years. And I'm also a husband and a father and an amateur violinist.
But really good too. And your staff loves that as well. So Carmen?
I'm Carmen Marng, and I am the principal of Gull Middle School, which is outside of Kalamazoo in southwest Michigan. I'm also the NAESP board director at large for middle level.
Awesome. And Ginny?
And I am Ginny Gills. I am the principal of Cumberland Elementary School in Cumberland, Virginia. We're just west of Richmond. I am also the Central Zone Director for the VAESP. And I've been in the business for a while, but in administration for about 11 years, 9 as a principal.
Right. Loren, did you know, like, we're with VIPs? I didn't realize.
It's awesome.
I know.
It's so cool.
I'm not even sure if we belong at the table. So
We'll do our best.
we'll do our best. Okay, we promise to do our best. I think the first question I'd love to unpack with you all, just how's the conference been for you, right? Some of you, I think it might be your first time. Other folks have been here multiple times, but kind of a broad question. But yeah, how's the conference been for you?
Well, attending the national conference was on the bucket list for
Nice.
me.
Yeah.
So I was really excited when the superintendent gave us the opportunity to attend. So it's been great. I really enjoy networking with other leaders. I especially enjoy, gaining ideas and finding ways to make them my own. The sessions are great, and the networking is even better.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think the conference has been going great. It's been really great to see the additional pieces of inclusion, to get different groups feeling like they're included in the conference, that they belong here, and that they're part of this
Yes.
NASP story. So that's been a cool thing to observe, this conference getting stronger.
Right. From the board perspective too, I mean, are there things you could point to in terms of being really intentional around that as well?
Yeah, definitely. Two of the places that we're really focusing on are in the middle level realm, and trying to get middle level people feeling connected. We've got more for APs and also principals of color. So those are kind of some of the spaces. We've also got a growing women in leadership space too. So some of those smaller populations finding places to meet up and connect and grow.
Fantastic. And Loren, this is your first experience, is that right?
It is. This is super exciting. I've wanted to come for a while. I was glad that it was local for me and made it easier for me to get to the conference. But it's so great to connect with administrators from all over the country and even the world, and to form new friendships with colleagues that will really support our work.
Right. Yeah. Despite our best efforts, it's really easy to exist in a bubble. And so to get around other people, right, in the national sort of context, like what a gift to you, and
Absolutely.
what you'll be bringing back to your communities. When you think about your conference experience too, and then prepping for the year, what is your plan in terms of taking an idea and making it a reality for how you start the school year off successfully?
Well, I think one of the big takeaways from the first keynote for me was just this notion of you can get everything done on your checklist. And I'm a very efficient list-based person.
I know you are.
And still not be wonderful at your job. And so remembering to slow down and be present in the space, remembering what's really important in front of us. And I think that's a mindset shift that I'm trying to shift this summer to build some momentum into that school year start.
And one of the takeaways that I had was that 45% of our day is habit. And there was a quote, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit." So really focusing on how we can have excellence in all the things that we do, which would start before the teachers arrive. And then, of course, once the teachers are there, and getting that kind of feeling through every activity we do, every lesson we do, every event that we do, that in all we do, we want it to be excellent. We want to add excellence.
How are you making meaning from a quote like that? That's impactful. I can imagine hearing that and being like, whoa, okay, I got to really rethink some things maybe.
Sure. So really the first was to focus on what those habits are. And so I we'll plan to go back and kind of unpack what does my day look like, and how are the habits that I'm doing leading to the excellence that I would like to have as a leader, and then how will that influence our team, our families, our community. So really first looking within to see what I can do better.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm thinking through what you just said about looking within, because it's like combining what we find in ourselves and then what we're learning from others that for me makes the conference so powerful. And I'm really focused, I think, on finding ways to really maximize my presence in the school community and being able to uplift the vision and mission of our school. And Danny, the session that you led us through yesterday was really about finding ways to make sure that we're using our time well, and time's such a precious resource. And I went to another session about delegating and how to do that effectively. And I really want to make sure that I'm really focused on the things that, are really the things that where I want to be present and spend time. And then I'm uplifting other team members in my school to be able to do the work that I know that they bring their talents to.
So I know that like wellness, in your health is an important focus, right? And it's a struggle. So it can be a real challenge to be fully present, to take care of ourselves in order to be best for our communities. But I'm curious, like, how you're approaching that in this new school year, even though I know it's a challenge, right? So maybe what's a commitment that you're making, or what's something you're noodling on, or what might be that challenge that you need to figure out?
So one of the things, and actually this came up in your session, I was reminded of, A+ work only has to be for really meaningful and aligned work, and allowing yourself permission to take a kind of a shortcuts on things that don't matter as much, to build some margin and some space. And I think that's something that I needed to hear regularly, to give myself permission to do that it doesn't have to be excellent, everything to full completion. And I think that's something to think about, what are those big rocks? What are those big things going into this year? And how do I maximize that? And every yes has a no. And so how do we say yes to the right things and no to the right things?
And just to add a little more context, so the session was on how to create more space, right, in your life, so you can lead and live on your own terms. What Carmen's referring to was one of my rules in terms of creating more space: A+ effort for meaningful work. And this is what leaders need to hear: C, D, or even F effort, right? On stuff that we just know is busy work. We're asked to do it. Nobody checks it when you turn it in. So why pour over and give your everything to, if nobody's even going to see it, So.
But I want to do my best work, Danny.
I know. Well, that's the thing, is that we're all overachievers. You know what I mean? Like, we want to be super good at everything, but that it just gets in the way. And if you haven't seen your family for a while, right? If you're leaving work, at a late hour, and look. Okay, so here's some areas, opportunities for you. So.
Yeah, it's that notion that we can do anything, but not everything, and really prioritizing and being really intentional. I think that keeps coming back, is like just being intentional about what we're choosing to say yes to.
Right. Thanks, Carmen.
And spending time with family is so important, like you said.
I met your family yesterday.
That was thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was fun.
Talk to the school leader listening to this, though. Like, how are you protecting time for family?
Well, one of the most important ways that I protect time is I have a stopping point at the end of the day.
When is it, if you don't mind sharing? What is your time? What works for you?
Well, I don't want to get in trouble for this, but I've been leaving work around 4 p.m. on a lot of days. Great. I mean, we start early. Yeah. We start at 7 a.m. or so. Sure. And there are plenty of, evening events in the school community, even weekend events that I love and enjoy at the school community. But a lot of days, it is, just important to stop and go home and make dinner. And I've been getting into vegetarian cooking. That's one of my self-care strategies, and it's been good for me and my family.
So what do you do, though? Like, you set that intention, 4:00. How do you honor it? Because I'm sure the clock is coming. You're thinking about all the things you still need to do, but how do you do it?
it's a habit, to go back to what Ginny was saying.
Right.
Doing it once or twice helps you do it that third and fourth time, and you keep going. It's also, though, because I've shared with my staff how important my family is, and I've told them, about the challenges that I've been through, my family's been through, and why that family time is so important, and how, as I also in turn respect their need for what's important in their personal lives and to stay renewed themselves, that I don't feel bad leaving early.
Good. You shouldn't. You don't have to apologize for that, right? Like, your families are worth it. So, Ginny, how are you thinking about health and wellness?
Sure. So I am not great at balance, but it is definitely a goal for me for this coming year to see how I can be that example for our staff who really need to be at their best as well for their family and for their children. One thing that you had shared was, to schedule that time, schedule that piece for self, whatever that may be. I happen to enjoy reading, and I enjoy reading professional books. So to me, that is, I feel like I'm doing something for myself when I do that. Also, scheduling that family time, I think, is important. So again, whatever your family is, what you call your family, I think it's important to carve out that time for them. So I'm hoping to do better so that I can share that with our staff and be a better leader, be a better model for them.
Better leaders equal better schools.
That's exactly right.
So, hey, I want to ask and end with this. So, of everything we discussed today, or even something we didn't discuss, but it's an idea that you got at the event, what's the one thing you want a school leader to remember listening to this show today?
Well, one thing, I don't know if this is a great example, but there was some information. I'm going to try to look at it so I can make sure I share it correctly. But it was really talking about the leader turnover rate and talking about how principals leave after 4 years. Some are leaving after 1 year, and it gave a percentage of what that is. So really, for me, and being with the VAESP, but just really being a life learner and a life educator and wanting to give back to this profession that's just so important. So I feel even more compelled to, be a voice, but also be an ear for the next generation of leaders who are coming through, making sure that I'm supporting that so they can get to the 5th year and they can get beyond the 5th year of leadership. So when I saw the statistics, it was, it almost took my breath away.
Yeah.
So it's been nice to hear so many principals here who've been doing the work for a really long time. But I think making sure that we're giving back and helping people get to year 5 and beyond and supporting each other.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah, I think connected to that, just that the work matters. And so
Yes.
thank you for doing that, because it is a sacrificial job. And I think the other piece would be just, every day there's things that we don't accomplish or don't do. And so just making sure that we're being really intentional about what those things are instead of having that just happen to us. So choosing our priorities in the midst of the whirlwind to be able to connect with people or to move initiatives forward in the midst of the craziness.
Thank you.
I would say carve out time for you. And that's not something that's going to hold your school community back. That's actually something that'll move your school community forward, and you'll be a model to support your team members. And I also say reach out to colleagues. It's not a weakness to ask for help. It's not a weakness to connect with others or talk through difficult situations. That's how we learn and grow together and get better.
I love to say, when you get better, everybody wins, right?
Right.
And that's what you're talking about. So I'm so thankful to spend some time with some really smart, intelligent people that are doing great work in education. So thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us.